y'all, this is Marley K. Hope y'all are well. This is going to be a little disturbing video, so if you are sensitive, this is probably not going to be the video for you. This channel probably is not for you because this is not your happy-go-lucky channel. This is a sounding the trumpet, watchman on the wall, trying to wake people up and let folks know about what is going on. So, I watched this video on JDW TV today, and it pretty much solidifies what me and so many of us have in our spirit about what is coming. And the fact that you can't talk to people, you can't tell people nothing, like it is so disturbing to me. But nonetheless, we got to be ready for whatever is coming for our own selves. We have to prepare mentally, we have to prepare physically. If you are able to, you can prepare financially. But you just got to be prepared for whatever is coming. And so people are starting to disclose little things, little subtle things to let us know, yeah, this is going down sooner rather than later. And, like I've been telling you, the closer we get to the time for this eclipse and whatever is happening in the earth, um, things are just moving rapidly. And so, in order to not be caught off guard and unaware, you should always, always, always be preparing. Um, and again, I can't stress enough. If you don't have that book 1 second after, please get it because it tells you how society is going to break down. It is very visual, very graphic, and I can't stress to you enough. Some of the things in that book that I read was pretty darn alarming because it's stuff that happens in combat. You never expect it to happen here in the United States. But once those lights go out, once there's no internet, once there are no communications, you're essentially on your own in your communities. Once there is no water, once there is no medication, people who are unhealthy going to start perishing. Like there is so much stuff that I want to talk about. And I think I'm just going to have to do another video to tell, just kind of read some of the stuff out of that book. Maybe I'll just do like a chapter of some of the most graphic stuff that I saw and just how people will have to come together, how communities will change in one day, how criminals will just walk around and rob and steal and do all sorts of stuff. People are going to be dying because they're unhealthy, because they can't get access to medication. You think about all the senior citizens and people in the hospitals who are going to be perishing. You're not going to be able to call paramedics. You won't be able to call a funeral home. You won't be able to call 911, no ambulances, let alone if it's an EMP strike. Vehicles are not going to be working. Gas stations won't be open. You won't be able to pump fuel. Like, it's going to be chaotic. And so I want to play this video that came from JWTV today because people are sharing stuff. And I think it's imperative that we pay attention and prepare. If people are risking their freedom and livelihoods to share information because they understand what's coming down the pipe, I think you should listen. We all are sticking our necks out right about now, and so many people are not listening. But those of us who are awakened, we get to live another day to prepare physically and mentally, then let's get it. That's my attitude. We're going to live and not die. We're going to endure to the end. We got to beat the sword. We got to make it through the sword to get over to the other side. And that's what we got to do. So I have not spent the last year or so well, really since 2020, 2021, talking about this stuff. And now we're here. I have fewer people now than I had 3 years ago. But, this is how the Most High set it up. And we here. We getting towards the end. And I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to talk to you. So we got to have real hard talks, and we got to get what we can get while we can get it, and learn as much as we can. So when things go awry, we'll know what's going on. And to our brothers and sisters who are not here and in other places, you know, understand we won't know what's going on. You may know stuff that we don't even know because we won't have any communications whatsoever. So, just depending on wherever we are in the world. So, we just gotta use our time wisely. So, let's get into this video by JWTV. I'm gonna blow this screen up so I can try to make this bigger. Well, I thought I did. All right, here we go.
Time based on what the sheriff insider that I talked to has said to me. Now we're going to go into that and information that has come out right after this outage situation that we want to get deeply into with you. We appreciate everybody in the last video that got out further, but let's get into this right now. I was messaging today and I was asking about a situation, but actually I didn't have to ask because it just was like, wait a minute, what's going on next? And what he was telling me, he said that he talked to a military contractor just today in person, and he said he was selling his home to go ahead and buy a bunker because he said it is going to go down within the next couple of months. Next couple of months. And I said, couple, that sounds like 3 or 4 months. He replied back, he said, no time frame. He just said it was coming down very fast, soon. A lot of people talked about it in the grid scenario. And so this was the scenario he actually was talking about. He also received something that I want you to see. He also wanted to relate it from me to you, which we'll do. They sent him some equipment. So the sheriff, obviously, he then takes a picture of this. And I ask him, I say, I got the picture here in a second. I say, is this nuclear? Is this chemical? Is this biological? And he says, biological. And I says, any word on why and what's your take on it? And so basically after that, we just moved into a whole nother scenario, but I'm going to tell you what they're actually bringing out here next. And I was telling you, like, you on the ground, y'all were telling me that you did see wires and new things being installed in the power grids. A lot of you said that. And so, can you confirm what you have been seeing more? Because that was the first initial thing that sheriff seen. He said I was getting ready for something to happen with the grid. They just came out with another report, by the way, and they said this in this report. This is from official government website, CISA, EPA, and FBI. Release cyber actions for securing water systems February 21st, 2024.
All right, so we've been talking about water for a whole year. I hope y'all got some water. I hope you got water purification tablets. I hope you have buckets so if you have to go haul water, literally, you can. I hope you got a wagon or something with wheels on it. So if you need to push water because your vehicles don't work and you got to walk, you can pull a wagon and put water in it. Um, we can live a couple of weeks without food, but you can only live a few days without water. And so you should have water straws, water filters, water purification stuff. I mean, we really got to understand what is going to happen. And, all this stuff is just coming out last couple of weeks. They've been talking about it for a minute, but for the last couple of weeks, they have been telling us what other countries have been telling their people for the last 2 years. So you're not going to have a whole lot of time if you're just learning about what's coming down the pipe. If you can, get plenty of water. If you got bottles where you can fill up water now while water is coming out of the taps, do that. If you got something where you can collect water and when it rains, get something for that too. Although I wouldn't depend on rainwater because they have tampered with the weather so much that you can't rely on rainwater anymore. You just can't. So I would say have something, but don't rely on it. You need at least have water in your house for everyone, enough water for everyone to have at least a gallon of water every day. And with that, you also need to have a way for people to relieve themselves. So you're going to have, something where people can go to the bathroom and dispose of waste. Like there's a lot of stuff. If you got a toilet in your house, you got a septic tank, you might have to pour water down the toilet in order to flush, or you may have to have a bucket with trash bags in them so that folks can use the bathroom. You could take the pee and poop outside and burn it in the trash can, or dig a ditch or hole and put it in and burn it. You'll need masks because you're going to have to burn human waste, and the stuff from the burn pit can damage your lungs. It's really going to be like a war zone. And except for you won't have no help, there won't be um, nobody coming to your rescue. And if people do come, trust you're not going to want their help. So just make sure you are doing what you need to do to get yourself ready. They're not telling you to secure, they're not talking about securing water systems. If they haven't done it by now, they're not going to be able to do it. Nobody has any money. The country doesn't have any money. If they were securing this stuff, they wouldn't have these issues. So if they're telling them to secure it, it means they're not going to secure it or it's not secure. If you live in a county or a city that doesn't have the money to do that, it's not going to be done. It's just not going to be done. So it's up to you to decide whether or not your family has clean water, um, water purification tablets, water filtration, water filters, those life straws. Do what you can now because once everything goes down, that's it. It's a wrap.
Whenever they tell you they're going to secure something, it just means that they're not going to secure it. I mean, they're telling you that right now. At the same time, they're going and raiding people's houses for this dumb scenario of J6 still. And supposedly the guy, the lady right there, that's his wife. She has a baby, and they say she miscarried the baby a day after this happens. So that's who was telling you, we're going to secure your supply chain and we're going to make sure the water system is good. I'm going to tell you what they're saying about these utilities. But man, I just can't stand them. And I can't stand the fact that we sit here in this scenario knowing what's coming, knowing the 2025 depopulation report that I laid out to you, and we go into the scenario. Do you go into it empowered? Do you go into it without fear? I'll talk about some scenarios that I've been in that's been crazy, gunshot, stuff like that, so we can get down into the nitty gritty. What are they saying about this water supply situation? They say in a review, entities requiring additional support for implementing any.
Create a lasting legacy with a body
Really?
donation. Body donation is an alternative to traditional burial or cremation.
any of the actions outlined in the fact sheet should contact the EPA. The EPA who's been poisoning us for years. The EPA who hasn't been approving anything that's helping us anyway. Entities requiring, it says water utilities are advised to reduce exposure of key assets, including the OT devices such as controllers and remote terminal units, to the public-facing internet and conduct regular cybersecurity assessments to understand the existing vulnerabilities within OT and IT systems. So they're now actively telling you that the water supply is now going to be under critical monitoring. Yeah, the pharmaceutical attack. I see somebody said my internet went down nearly daily. Yes, and they sent out a message saying we're sorry. Guess who's like going to be updating their grid though? I really dived deeper into this scenario, and it's a place where the rich and the Nazis and the Soviets are actually at right now. They're upgrading some underlying network as we speak. They put this out 1 week ago for their new electrical grid updated project. Here's a map of it. You look further into it, and then we're gonna read you what they're doing. But this is just for Long Island, though. May I mention to you, this is for Long Island. This is not for America, and the reason why is they have key security operations going there. It says
And
which
notice
senators seek
some of
data
those
on
places
underground sludge.
where the I was gonna see if I could go back to where it was. Yeah.
And the reason why is they have
Oh, so right there. So if you look where it says New Rochelle, Yonkers, Bronx, notice those are the places where the identity thieves, the Khazarians live at. So the Khazars are gonna make sure they have their stuff upgraded, while the rest of the places do not. So I want you to see what's happening, who's getting what, and how this is going to look. So if you are black in New York or in any black city or black part of a city, you need to understand that you are going to be neglected in every way, shape, or form. You're not getting any upgrades. Your water ain't going to work. Your lights ain't going to work. You will be on your own and you will be perked on by your own people. And not only that, but if you live in a community or a state that is a sanctuary, or let's say, just say, for instance, a sanctuary city, all those people who come from other places who don't have laws and rules like America, they are going to rob the crap out of those people. So it's going to be really ugly. And you need to have a means to defend yourself at all times. Now, going forward, you just need to be able to defend yourself.
to you. This is for Long Island. This is not for America. And the reason why is they have key security operations going there. It says which plans to spend billions to bury, and obviously pandemic scenarios and the top Nazi German warfare scientists are having offspring in this area. To bury 90 miles of electrical transmission lines, we'll discuss exactly where those lines will go with affected communities and residents and businesses, it says. And you go look into it further. Like I said, Long Island is well known for its history. And here is the spy hub right here. Or you can look on screen. This is the spy hub for where the secretive Russian facilities back when they were the Soviets still existing today. Biden has done not one thing about it because he is a government puppet. You can see the location of this from High Grounds right there. So looking deeper into this scenario though, this plan for this electrical grid project that they're planning, and I'm gonna get you into a comment that was put out by, I believe to be somebody who was in military or maybe former military, and they were talking about this hack scenario, which was a hack, and all the people saying that, oh, it was solar. Here's what you do. You get Garmin GPS when something goes down, and if you can't use it, then yeah, the satellites have been fried. You can say one or two things, either it was an EMP or it was a solar flare, but you'll know for a fact if you have a Garmin GPS, and if it's still operational and it's just a hack, you're going to be totally fine. Check this comment out though, that was put out underneath the video on beforeisnews.com, because the video really got out far thanks to those people there and thanks to you here. So check this out. My fellow Americans, this test run was done by the NSA. The Chinese and Russians would not dump an ace in the hole tactic like cyber attacking on our cell phone network with so low impact result, as this would expose the firewall breach mechanism that was used, which would allow us to correct the cyber defense weaknesses. If a foreign government is going to launch a cyber attack, they will launch a fully disabled one that would take days, if not weeks or longer, to repair. During the telenetwork downtime, they would follow up with several other attacks to disrupt virtually every computer-based system in this country so that we are overwhelmed. Going into the next part here that he put out, he says, while all this is occurring, that would be the time to move tactical assets, troops as planned to take advantage of disruptions, unrest in the country. The NSA, FBI, CIA are far more dangerous to this country than Russia, China combined, especially when you consider it was the CIA and Mossad that executed, you know what. JD, U.S. Marine enemies that want this country destroyed are already here. And that's a fact, because we told you, we said when things go down, the sleeper cells are going to activate. And in fact, they're talking about underground operations as we speak right now. Representatives seek data on underground smuggling tunnels and subterranean border defense act. Appreciate that super chat there. And I'm going to read you into this really quickly. This is what they said. And this is where the operations will be coming from. The underground stuff and everything else that we're going to be dealing with once the grid goes down. Introduced this week border security legislation that seeks to focus on countering underground smuggling tunnels. The Subterranean Border Defense Act, which specifically pushed for annual reports on Congress to make countering illicit bordering tunneling since 1990. As terrorists, cartels, and smugglers develop new ways to infiltrate our country, the U.S. must stay on the cutting edge of securing protect our citizens and our infrastructure. Crane said, I'm proud to be able to champion one more deterrent on our southern border that will play a crucial role in keeping Arizona safe. So this is specifically a tunneling process where they're going underground to Arizona with cartels, with probably the Chinese operatives and everybody else that's already waiting in place for their positions and for their orders. So
O'Keeffe's Lip Repair is hard-working skincare with guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked lips.
Boy, commercial.
This mistake is costing Amazon Prime shoppers big. Are you still using Prime? Because at this point, it's the dinosaur of online shopping.
Definitely hit the like button if you're here right now. Like, honestly, like, we're going to get deeper in talking about, again, this sinister plan that's coming for me, you, and our families. We can't just sit here and just think that this is a normal game that's being played, because it's not. As a result, 2025, the Rothschilds, including the CIA, they want the depopulation plan. That's in their reports. We've talked about this. Deagle.com, Rockefeller Foundation, and the military-industrial complex. 2025, we don't have much time. And as far as I'm saying, if you just tuned in, a couple of months, the military contractor said that this is going to be a process where it is going to start to deteriorate as we see it. So we're looking deeper into this. And then if you've seen lately, I'm not on any political side. So you come here, just know I'm not on any political side. Thanks for that super chat. Somebody says the government has already had NSA voice sell for decades. If you look on screen here, you see that there's Trump standing on a podium that looks like a B-52 bomber. That's symbolizing something there too. They're saying something, they're messaging something right there in that process. Now, like I said, like, this was Davos. They all, remember in Davos, the CEOs somehow secretly left and they went to game out the 2024 geopolitical scenarios. They have a plan. And the question is, do you have a plan? I told you, any grid down scenario always should have protocols to be able to contact family or people with a code word on your wall or in your van, in somewhere that they know where you're going. 2 to 3 code words to give them 2 to 3 locations so you can always link up and find each other. Start talking to them about it now. And you know, a lot of people haven't been through these crazy scenarios. So the scenarios at hand when you know the cartels and the people invading the country already right now happening. People, gunshots, all types of stuff is happening. Like I've been in these crazy scenarios. You just have to maintain the focus on the day-to-day process of survival. Yeah, I know Hurricane Katrina ain't nothing like what we're gonna go through, but I've been in, let's say, without a month of any power supply at all. And when you go through a month without power supply, something changes about you.
All right, so I'm gonna stop it here because the rest of this is pretty much him motivating his audience. But I wanted you to see how people in the military are leaking information, former military, people who have um, or had um, jobs where they did things on behalf of the government, so they know what's coming down the pipe. And so if they're active duty, they're like, hey, we're gonna sell our stuff and I'm gonna protect my family because I gotta move. Because I'm a part of the bad that's coming and I'm gonna obey the orders to harm my people. Um, but there are other people who are like, hey, y'all know there's some doo doo. The boogeyman is us. Ain't no real boogeyman. The boogeyman is us. So no matter what you think, what side you are on, it doesn't really matter because what matters is something is going to happen. It's going to happen to us. It's going to happen to the country. And there are a lot of people conspiring against us. So you're going to be dealing with not only your own military working against you, you will have a bunch of people who are from other countries working against us to overtake the country. It's basically getting ready to be a coup d'etat. So you have to just be ready. And if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So food and water, medicine is going to be essential. Hygiene and cleaning products will be essential. Um, Having information to give to people will be essential. If you can go someplace and give people free Bibles, go to the thrift stores. If they let you get free Bibles, collect all that you can and give them to people because the word is not going to be anywhere to be found. People are going to be cursing and cursing God and cursing the government, fighting their neighbors, robbing, stealing, doing everything except for relying on the Creator to make a way for us. And it's really going to be difficult. We're gonna experience a lot of difficult times, and it's not far away. I know people thought, oh, it's going to be 2025, 2030. No, by the time 2020, 30 comes, there's going to be so few of us left on this earth. And the chaos is not just going to be limited to America. It's going to be Europe. It's going to be Canada. It's going to be Africa. It's going to be Asia. It's going to be everywhere because the whole world has to come under the power of the beast. And so, as this happens, it's just going to be a lot of chaos before the order comes. So, get on your knees and cry out to the Most High so that He'll deliver us. I'm tired. Everybody's tired. People who have been reporting out for the last couple of years, sounding the trumpets, we are tired. I'm tired. I'm so tired. I cannot tell you how tired I am. But I keep going because I know that as long as we have internet and lights and power, there's hope. But the day the lights go off, the day that everything goes awry, we don't know what we're going to be able to say. We don't even know if folks going to be coming to collect us. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if those blue hats going to be coming to neighborhoods getting people out. We don't know if they're going to be a bunch of uh, foreigners running through the streets, creating havoc. Just don't know. But what I do know is we have a heads up, we have a leg up, and we need to make sure we continue to keep that. So I want y'all to make sure you take care of yourselves, get rest as best you can, exercise, try to do some fun things while you still can. Prepare for time without power, without communications. Um, Prepare for crazy people because people are really going to freak out. People are going to have mental breakdowns. Um, you're going to see all kinds of stuff. People are going to be trading children, eating children. People are going to be dumping off the elderly. Like, it's really going to be a sad time. And you're going to see the ugliness of humanity trying to survive. So I don't think we really can prepare because we've never seen it in our lifetimes. But what we can do is try to imagine it and prepare ourselves like for how we're going to live when this stuff is happening, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen sooner than later. So while there's still daylight, while there's still peace and calm, continue to prep, continue to pray, continue to seek the Most High for sins daily, sins of commission and sins of omission. Try to keep the Sabbath as best you can in Babylon. Learn as much as you can about what we are supposed to do. Live set apart, um, because you're not going to want to be around folks when this stuff happens. You ain't going to want to hear them talking. They're going to be complaining, going to be hungry. Remember to be the gray man and not try to be so separated and stand out. You need to make sure when everybody out crying and talking and gathering, you need to be out too. You don't have nothing. You're going to have to really learn how to play possum. Because if you are in your house all the time, you never come out, and people in the community are wondering, well, how come they ain't coming out? Well, they must have stuff. You're going to be a target. So you got to learn how to think. You're going to have to learn how to survive and be street. If you don't have that experience, you better be learning quick, because learning on the fly is going to be too late. It could get you killed. All right, y'all. Keep prepping. Please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload new content. Please try to share as many of these videos as you can out to people, because we don't have that much time. And I think after April, it's pretty much a wrap. I don't even think we're gonna make it till November. Honestly, we could have intermittent outages and all kind of shenanigans, but I don't know. I just know this is going to be a bad year. And I haven't even talked about the economic collapse part yet. Got to do a video on that. But get it together, folks, fast. You only got about a month, maybe less. And then it's all going to fall apart. All right, y'all, this is Marla K, and I'm out.